Is Lisa ready? And you have your recorder out, or aren't you recording it?
I don't have to anymore.
Yeah, your job just keeps getting easier, and
Should we call the sheriff?
Not just yet. We don't want to overreact,
That's true.
but we're nervous.
all right. I will call the town board meeting of July 15th, 2024 in order. Approval of the agenda. Patrick, any changes?
No changes, Mr. Chair.
Board of anything?
I have none.
No changes.
I need a motion to approve.
Move to approve the agenda as submitted.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? And item 3 is approval of payment of the bills.
I signed off. Move to approve payment of the bills.
Well, second.
All right, motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed? All right, then we need an approval of the minutes from July 1st, 2024. Anybody have any changes?
I had none.
I don't have any. I'll move to approve.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, 5 is a consent agenda item. Only 2 of them on here. What's the board's pleasure?
I don't have any discussion on that. I can make a motion to approve.
I'll second that.
All right, motion's made and second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries. All right, 6 is old business, we have none. 7 is public hearing, we have none. 8 is new business, we have none. 9 is added agenda item, we have none. We have a time slotted for Senator Heather Gustafson in open time, but did you tell her we were going to have a pretty short meeting? So you would want to just give her,
Maybe Scott has a few things that he'd like to add in open time.
hey, it's open time, Scott. You can give your farewell.
We have a member of the public here. Yes, stand up here and pontificate, please.
Proving once again we let anybody into these meetings.
Scott McCune, 210 Grace Court, Garnavillo, Iowa.
Zip code? What?
Previously, 5250 Anderley Lane. I hesitate to talk because you guys could have the absolute shortest meeting on record.
Oh, we don't want to do that.
All right. I did want to hear what our elected official had to say, but I guess I won't. Anyway, I wanted to take this opportunity for 2 things. As a resident, I wanted to say thank you to the board and to the staff for making the township a nice place to live. I've been here coming up on 25 years, and long before I got involved with the board, I really thought it was a nice place to be. Of course, I thought it was White Bear Lake Township, whatever, and I
So do a
didn't
lot of people.
recognize, I mean, I went across the border several times, but it was always easy to deal with, and even back in a long time ago when Anderley Lane was redone, I had great interactions with the public works. So I know you already compliment them on a regular basis. As a resident, I would just reaffirm that. As a elected official, previously, a prior elected official, I wanted to thank you guys for all your patience in helping me get through my learning curve. Chad and Patrick especially had to walk me back from the brink more than once, and I really appreciate that. Of course, you guys, I've learned a ton from. I know way more about ordinances and zone enforcement and construction. In fact, I have a question for a general contractor at some point. But just wanted to say thank you from those 2 perspectives. It's with any luck, here I still am, but I should be out of here shortly if things go as they're supposed to.
So you're still at the house?
I'm still at the house.
When do you think you're...
A month ago, but
Okay, when's the next planning date?
as I told the general contractor the other day, come hell or high water, we are going to be there on the 27th. Whether they're done or not, I'm moving in. I'm tired of the delays, so long story, won't bore you.
Oh, it's never boring, Scott.
So
Well,
Thank you for the
when you
nice
retire,
comments.
move to Iowa, would you?
that's kind of what I was wanting you all to know.
Yeah. Well, again, thanks for your service to
Yes,
the board,
thanks for
though.
the service.
Pleasure dealing with you, Scott.
Yes.
You're a great bean counter. Now Tom has to take your place.
Ouch. Ouch. I don't like beans.
Speaking
Thanks
of
again, Scott.
beans, Heather's here.
Come on up, Senator.
Senator, we appreciate you dropping by.
Of course. Well, thanks for having me. I always like coming here.
I almost went to the wrong place. I almost went to the,
Hammond Road.
yes. And then I remembered the
Thought
meetings
about
are
that
here.
right as we were wondering.
Would not
where you
have been
were.
the first.
And I called my LA and I was like, I just want to clarify which building is it at? And so, yes, happy to be here though. So,
We share this with Gem Lake.
yeah, which is nice. It's a nice space too. I have to say,
enjoy it.
they're touring all of the cities. It's
Well,
really
our
nice.
town hall was not exactly up to snuff for,
Still a little dated.
yeah.
Yes, you're a pioneer.
It's good. It's good. How are the plans coming for Township Days?
I can speak to that.
Yeah.
It's moving along excellently. We've got vendors lined up. We'll have our fireworks show as normal. Plans are in place and they'll be finalized this month, probably. Everything. So,
Nice.
a beautiful date. You know the date, right?
I mean, it's on my calendar, but
All right, that's all you need to know. It's September.
okay.
Are you going to be present?
Of course.
All right.
Yes, I never miss.
All right.
Yeah. So I don't have a lot to, discuss. Our session this year was, of course, a policy year. And so we didn't have a big budget to work with. I know we had some things to iron out with the last transportation aid that we gave you. And I think that was ironed.
All done
It's all done.
in our bank account.
Great. Oh, how good does that feel then?
Awesome. That means I don't have to answer where is it anymore.
Right. Oh, I'm sure.
We so much appreciate you and Senator Hornstein's work on this.
Yeah.
I'm all 11,000 residents are going to appreciate that because it's just really going to help our budgeting for our road projects.
Yeah, and I'm glad that we got it ironed out because I know I was a little bit worried too. And they kept me informed on it. But again, at that point, it really belonged to Senator Dibble because he was the transportation chair. And so I was sort of out of the loop, but we kept an eye on it. And I'm glad it's all worked out now. So
Well, I think I owe him a beer because I was the Debbie Downer on this one.
It's okay.
yeah, but I mean, it was worth it. And now, like you said, now it's in your bank account and you're able to sort of plan that.
Now the
and-
planning part starts.
Right, which has got to feel really a sense of relief.
Yeah, and I think it'll start getting some traction in the community in our next couple of road projects when everybody starts to feel a little bit of the pressure off financially. So
Sure.
That really made the playing field even for all of our surrounding communities.
Good.
We've always been way behind on these.
Sure. And we have to make sure we let the public know, like, right, because you anticipate there will be a cost savings to residents.
oh yeah.
Yes.
Well,
So the way that we structured all this is our finance officer, in addition to money straight from some of our utility funds and special assessments on our property owners that are involved in the projects, also would spread parts of the project cost across the entire population through general levy.
Sure.
Which, I mean, it's small enough to where 11,000 folks won't feel it, but big enough to where the ones who are directly impacted by the project will understand and respect the fact that we're all sharing it. And the funds that we got from you are just going to help that even more.
Yeah.
So
Well, I'll never forget our conversation where you saw the public safety money and then what happened to the
oh yeah,
money for transportation?
that's
I
right.
was like, no, you get both.
That's right. That was a very fun day. And I thank you for that moment.
No. It's yes. I mean, happy to do it, but it's one of those rare moments where you give somebody, what do they say, like under promise, over deliver. It was one of those
Right.
times where I was like, oh, I get to tell somebody some really good news, and they're not gonna,
Yes.
they're not gonna get mad at me during a budget year. You never know. So
Well, it's a very big deal for the township. We really appreciate it.
So,
Yeah.
Heather, one of the things that I'm going to say might be a little easier, and it's not looking for necessarily dollars today,
Yeah.
but is working on some legislation to change the archaic language so that a metro township such as us has the opportunity to look at other revenue sources besides just direct property taxes. And the townships, just by the way the statutes were written many, many years ago, always seem to get left out. And the needs of the metropolitan area are no different whether you're a city or a township. And franchise fees as an example, just some word changes could make
right.
significant
We
difference.
talk about that a lot when we say or cities or townships over 10,000 in population, which is
Yes.
always the White Bear Lake, or not, sorry, the White Bear Township clause. And I know what it means very few other people know what that means, but we try to do it. That's what I was going to say. I was going to bring it up, is that we need to find ways, because this is one-time funding. So
Yeah.
what can we do going forward that's more sustainable?
Wait a minute, we're not going to get this every year?
Every legislative session, we should expect this, right?
Right. Every time I go to the doors and someone says, "Well, you spent all of our surplus," and I was like, "Correct. I mean, not all of it, but most of it. But like, go talk to White Bear Township.
Yeah.
There are things that got put into communities that had never been, with the public safety aid, the transportation boost to White Bear Township. Those are things that we would not have been able to do without that surplus. So I always say, like, it went to things. I mean, you might not think that roads is like something that's going to make a splashy headline, but it's important to people in township. So
They won't make splashy headlines, but they will be felt
right,
for sure.
right,
And former Supervisor McCune and I have had numerous discussions about how it's good that we aren't necessarily in the headlines.
Yeah.
And we'll stay out of the headlines even with this, because like you said, it's not anything that's going to get anybody excited.
right.
But we really do appreciate it, and we will know exactly what to do with it.
Are those the new T-shirts? Keep township boring.
That's right. We
Good
should.
idea.
That's right.
We could maybe raise some revenue. We probably aren't allowed to do that.
It's not too late for township days. We can get those T-shirts. We can do it.
But no, all kidding aside, though, there is just some legislative word changes and some statutes that would be beneficial to us.
Yeah.
Well, we've been trying to get the term urban township changed so that then that encompasses anything over 10,000 people. And maybe that would make the wording easier. We're not sure.
Right.
Well, the definition of urban township is just fine as it stands. It's pretty clear.
Just needs to get
But the-
inserted in spots.
Yeah, exactly. Wherever it says, municipalities include, and, terms should be cities and urban townships.
Over a population of
You live in
Yeah, the only actual urban townships that we can calculate, White Bear Township.
Eureka.
No, Eureka
That's when
actually.
they went to
that's-
to a city.
Lake or Savage.
No, Eureka actually is, because of their population, they don't meet the definition of an urban township by, they just don't meet it. They're very close, but they don't. Now, Baytown Township is one that would probably meet it. That's the only one we
People
can.
live in Baytown.
Excuse me?
Baytown Township. How many? What's the population?
I'll tell you what,
Not as much as us.
we are the attorneys for Baytown Township, by the way, so I'll find out for you and let you know.
Yeah. As far as I can tell from it, we are heads and shoulders above everyone else as far as population goes with townships. And so
Yeah.
when I say that, people always, I'm in local state gov committee and I bring it up constantly. I'm sure people are actually tired of me talking about White Bear Township, but I would say that when you think of it that way, most of the townships that my colleagues represent are, 200, 300, 500, 600. So when you look at the list of townships, and ours is bigger than,
cities
almost the
around
size
here.
as Venice Heights, right? So
So the best statistic that comes out of League of Minnesota Cities is that White Bear Township has a higher population than 90% of the cities in the state. So
yeah,
And the easy answer from some people's position is, well, they should become a city. Not as easy.
yeah. Not,
I mean, we could.
Actually, no, we can't, because the
Not
definition of
contiguous.
a city requires contiguous territory.
we're all over the place.
You know that, yeah.
Yeah. And so,
I can see you know that, yeah.
so
You're
that's,
right. That is the very first thing people will say. What? That's so dumb.
Yes.
Why don't they just become a city? I said they can't incorporate because they're not contiguous. So that's
an easy other thing to show people is the cities can, if they have a new business comes in, wants to have a liquor license, cities can approve those.
yeah.
We have to go to the county who routinely say, why are you coming to us? Because the statute, I believe, says we have to have Ramsey County approval.
That's
Sure.
right.
And it's a simple thing, at least it appears simple. Nothing is simple in government, I understand that. But with a little effort, I think they could tweak languages if they want.
Yeah. Do you have the capacity or the time to be able to put together a list of maybe the biggest headaches that you have that might be policy fixes that we could put together for White Bear Township to
CBTs or CBDs or whatever they're called.
So, I mean, yeah.
I did send
Oh, you did? Okay.
to Nick your assistant, right?
Yeah, I have a new assistant now, so I don't know if it
Oh,
got
Nick's
lost.
not there anymore? Oh,
He's still
okay.
with the Senate, but he moved to agriculture.
So
Doesn't-
back in the fall here, he and I had a discussion about what were some of the language changes we'd like to talk about. I didn't mention anything about liquor stores or anything, but he did know about,
Cannabis?
what's that?
Cannabis?
No.
but that is gonna be
the
a-
franchise fee. He
that's a
knew
hard
about
one
the
for us.
franchise fee, that we had requested that, but the other ones, they,
Yeah, actually, you've been pretty good about when you define municipalities, including townships.
Yeah, okay.
So that, but there's still some statutes out there that have to be straightened out, but not many. Franchise fees and liquor licenses are probably the biggest.
Sure.
At least they come to mind. I can't think of anything else.
those are the big ones. Oh, there was one other one. We didn't qualify for bonding rates that a municipality would qualify for in this last round of bonds that we issued for road projects.
Okay.
PK talked about that at least a dozen times.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Okay,
We'll
so
get a list
someone's
ready
going to
for
send
you.
me this list.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, because what I'm thinking is that we could put together just sort of a mini White Bear Township omnibus policy change bill that we kind of go through. And again, like I sit on local state gov, I can explain, this will not be, I don't know that it would even go to any other. If we're talking about bonding, then maybe, I don't know. The only other thing I could see is that it would have to go through tax committee, but really just some sort of a bill that addresses the inconsistencies with the township versus the municipalities. And we'll go from there. But let me know what they are. I mean, you guys know I don't always, it's not
problem.
obvious to me sometimes, so.
So the thing with some of these other language changes that are different is that urban township is excluded from statute on those types of the interest rate one in particular comes to mind because Tom showed me the statute and we're not in there as being allowed to take advantage of this. But the other, so when we were approaching legislature over the last 5, 10, 15 years about LGA, we were specifically in there saying with the exception of urban townships, whatever it was.
Right.
And these other things don't take a bite into anybody else's revenue.
Yeah.
The LGA one was fought, and the language has remained in place as excluding the urban townships. But I get that. I understand where the resistance was.
I think it is good that we're talking about this stuff because LGA is not going to change probably. And you guys, I'm sure, have
We know.
$3 you were allotted spent.
Yeah.
I mean, $3, that's
I wish they'd just keep it.
what I was like. I'm ready to buy a latte for $3. I don't know what that is supposed to do for them, but whatever. No, but I agree. So it's good to be thinking about other places where we can bring in income because I don't see LGA. And we fought that in the session, first session when they were retooling that, but it didn't go in my district's favor. So, yeah.
We the $7 million that was granted to us so graciously by the legislature was pretty much equivalent to just over 10 years of LGA anyway, is what we had formulated or calculated, I guess.
Sure.
So got the job done, and it was all going to go to road projects anyway, because that's what our biggest expenditure is for the next decade.
Right.
So it worked out fine.
I think
Everybody can relax. We're not going to raid their money now.
Yeah, you're good for now.
when you get our list, and one good way I think that legislators could understand this is that the language in a lot of these statutes were put in 40 plus, some of those are very old, and the townships were all considered rural. But as the metropolitan area, Duluth, Moorhead, Rochester, as they've expanded, townships have been brought more into what I'll call a metropolitan life. And so their needs have changed for a lot of reasons right along with the cities. The language just hasn't caught up.
Right.
And so it's a good opportunity to clean up some of it.
I think too, what I discovered first session, especially with the 7 million, was that I did not realize, or at least I underestimated the animosity between White Bear Township and the Township Association. And so whenever anything special is sort of done for my township, that is seen as sort of like shots fired. So I would say we are probably doing our best going forward if we keep using the term urban township and if we keep specifying it to things that are very much a White Bear Township exclusive need. Not to say, I mean, I only care about White Bear Township when I'm at the Senate, right? Because that's who I represent. But I do want to keep, good relationships with people who are also in other parts of the state who are like, why are they getting special treatment, and why are you taking away from township funding because White Bear Township is so big or whatever. And then, of course, it's the constant reminder to people that we are right in the middle of, what are these technically tier 2 suburbs, right? And so we get so much traffic, so much population, much more than the townships have.
And I think a big thing too is we fall under the Met Council's thumb and their umbrella. So we get a lot of unfunded mandates that the cities are compensated for and we're not.
Right.
I personally have 30 plus years, probably close to 40 years of time with the Minnesota Association of Townships, way back in the rural days, and it's changed. But without going into tons of details, we had the management people come and talk to us, and we told them what our needs were, and it didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah.
And so we had to reach out on our own.
Right.
One other point, the conversion from a township to a city is not cheap. Scandia and Credit River, I think Scandia budgeted about $100,000 to do it. And for a township, that's a lot of money.
Are you worried about the cities annexing?
Well, that's another issue.
Yeah.
I mean, we're not, because I don't think that's going to happen anymore. But yeah, annexation is another issue. It's more of a problem, I would say, for
Smaller ones.
the Dakota County and Scott County.
Yeah.
Well, they can't
St. Louis.
justify an annexation because they can't offer anything to a township resident that they don't already have.
Sure.
It's not like you're taking a big block property with no service. So the chance of them even doing it are,
That's a very good point, because the statute's clear. If you already have sewer and water service, you're really not eligible for annexation. That's the whole basis for annexation.
Doesn't the law say something about if 40 people step forward or?
That, yeah, and then there's a 40-acre rule, but that also kicks in only if there's, the 40 people, yeah, that can happen, but.
But I do maintain, though, that if townships acted collectively, recognizing the sprawl of the major metropolitan areas, they could address some of these things right up front and for the benefit of all, because townships are not all just 300 people anymore. There's all around every St. Cloud, Moorhead, Duluth, they're all growing. And with remote remote workers, I should say, they can access their work from anywhere. And so the living in the rural is important, but they want the services. And so we just got to figure the mechanism to get them, such as the broadband that's now going around the state. Very good for rural Minnesota.
Yeah.
So we're heading in the right direction.
I'm also on that committee too, and it is striking how much of our state was not covered by broadband.
Yes, I have family that lives up by at the Cass Lake Bena area, and when COVID times came and they were doing remote learning, they had no opportunity for remote learning. They had to go on a school bus and get outside and where they could get internet
you
access.
mean they didn't have dial-up?
No, they had nothing. I mean, we are spoiled in where we have it, and there's a lot that needs to get taken care of. So kudos for that also.
Absolutely.
So what else is happening on your end outside township news?
Yeah, well, we're in the interim now, so session's done, and we're gearing up for the next budget season. So I don't know what it looks like. I don't know what the forecast is going to be. I'm going to try to work on some more public safety funding. I don't know what that'll look like, but I know that was something that people were hoping would. It was one time, but we'll ask again.
Every bit helps.
Yeah. Again, just to go back to LGA, and I represent 9 cities, 8 cities and a township, and I think that it was helpful in ways in that if the money is sort of earmarked for that, knowing that that's such a major expense, then your budget is a little fungible, and you can move this over, and now you can focus on the other things that you couldn't before because your public safety budget was so big. I know you guys contract with Ramsey County Sheriff's Department, and then White Bear Fire, right?
Yep.
So those are expenses that you have, and if the money is there, now you can move things around. So trying to work on that, trying to work on education funding, long-term facility funding for schools, working on a lot of public safety things as well, but we'll see. I don't know. This is the time of year where you're sort of looking for, you know, I go to every one of my cities, I go to all of my school boards, and I do a bunch of door knocking during the week, and it's just trying to hear what people are saying and see if there's a bill that can help. You know, I always remind people that not every problem has a legislative solution, so it's not
Right.
that I can write a bill for every family's problem or challenge that they're facing, but I don't know unless I talk to them. So sometimes I can help and sometimes I can't, but I can at least like be somebody who's paying attention. So that's the goal. Yeah. So if you do have ideas, again, the list is a great way to start. And I apologize if you had sent that before. Maybe it got missed when my assistants changed, but
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
happy to send it again.
yeah,
It's all
I
good.
think those are things that we could work on, and
Yeah.
and I have access to do that.
It's a
Just
huge list.
It really is, and they're pretty innocuous changes too,
Yeah.
right? So,
yeah, I'm sure. You know, that's the famous last words of any legislator,
Sure.
the Senate or the House, is this is an easy bill, won't
Yeah.
be controversial, and then they come out of the woodwork. So, yeah. But keep in mind, or keep me in mind, if you're thinking about something that you're facing, and think about, like, is there something that could change in statute that might solve this problem? The answer is sometimes no, but sometimes it's yes. So just let me know.
okay.
Yeah.
I just,
Yeah.
before you guys might have something to say, the funding of $7 million to the township to help us do our road projects and infrastructure work over the next 10 years. For the past 3 years, when we've had assessment hearings for these projects, we've had, 20, 24 people that will show up, and for the first 15 to 20 minutes, they're all pretty riled up because they're getting, the board is in charge of, passing or not passing that highest possible assessment fee, right? And it's amazing to me how much the temperature goes down when the board mentions to our residents that, as opposed to years past in the township where we were required that all projects were 100% funded by residents through assessments,
Yeah.
we're sharing it, almost 50-50. And
The temperature go down.
goes way down. And I'm excited to see what the temperature does when we tell them that we're splitting it 50-50, and we're going to be spreading some funds across the general levy to alleviate everybody's tax burden.
Please invite me to that meeting.
I will. I will.
That is the first time I met all of you, as I went to one of those meetings. And
Yeah.
I don't know if any of you remember it or not, but after the meeting, I introduced myself. But I remember sitting here
I
thinking,
remember standing in the back and you go, you get no funding?
yeah, no funding? No? And then the LGA, I think it was $12 or something.
I think, yeah, so they dropped it.
Like,
It used to be 17, now it's 12.
It was 17, yeah.
So I
You'll feel it. You'll feel it just go down.
Yeah.
The minute that comes across everybody.
I love to just sit in the corner and watch everybody just.
Yeah, just relax.
It's
Oh, it's just that, huh? Okay.
All right, Tom, you have any questions or comments?
I don't know. Appreciate all your help.
appreciate you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, I've said my piece.
Thanks for stopping by and giving us an update.
Yeah,
we appreciate
yeah,
it.
Thanks so much this year, but it's always good to hear ideas too. So it's good to see all of you.
You bet.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Senator.
Thanks, Heather.
All right, moving on. We just need a motion to receive agenda materials and supplements.
So moved?
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? All right, then I need a motion to adjourn at 7:29.
So move.
Second?
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Excellent work, gentlemen.
We have to take it down.
We do.